I think we are ready to go for the ring walk and ready to go for our first matchup of the day. Nath versus Majiq here in the group stage, round number one. Q, we got Josh Taylor versus Terrence Crawford.
We got the Terrence Crawford pick. I gotta say, I'm a big fan of. I mean, the Terrence Crawford. I mean, the big
All
thing
right, I
on
went
his
over the
advantage is the
rules.
reach, right? You
I
can really
want you
kind
to
of play
protect yourself
from
at
a
all
distance here.
times,
I'm gonna be excited to kind of
and what
see
I say you
how we
must
see that
obey.
countered.
Good luck.
Yeah, we'll have to see how that goes. I like the ability from Terrence Crawford to play that switch hitter. You can obviously play in that opposite style. You
Let's
can kind of
do it.
switch it up between the opponents. But of course, playing to 10 rounds, and here we go. 3 minutes on the clock to start us off. Josh Taylor in the red corner and Terrence Crawford in the blue corner. Of course, we'll get to watch the little bit of stamina bar here from Josh Taylor and see if their ability from Nath, if you can keep that stamina bar alive, not exert yourself here in this first round, and already with some big trades back and forth.
Yeah, I think the big thing you're going to be looking for, especially on the side of Josh Taylor, knowing that they are that knockout artist, is they're going to be looking for the opportunities to be able to strike and strike heavy. So for Terrence Crawford, you got to make sure that you can kind of play from your distance, and you almost want to anticipate when Taylor's going to be going into those punches, right? That way you can kind of keep him at bay. You can kind of see Terrence Crawford doing the little dance, trying to make sure that they can kind of just get a read on the fight here early in round one.
A little bit of early damage towards that head here from Terrence Crawford. Like you mentioned, though, you really have to start to hit those counters with that KO artist, that ability to just knock you down really quickly. That extra 15% chance can go a long way. On the other side of the field, it does look like playing that switched up stance possibly here for Terrence Crawford, kind of switching things up. You watch the footwork really good, and both players playing a little bit patient here to start us off, Q.
Yeah, I like it though, right? You're trying to get yourself the early points. I think both players here are good and committed to the longer fight, which even with the fact that Josh Taylor does have the ability to kind of strike when needed, I think that right now, as far as for Nath, understanding what the game plan is. You try and go the distance, but at any time where you might see Majiq kind of overextend, you have that ability to go for the knockout. So I do feel like, though, at least early, it feels like Majiq's doing a better job as far as kind of getting some easy big hits in and being able to kind of stick and move.
Yeah, it does look possibly like a left cut, though, appearing on the side of Terrence Crawford. So has to be a little bit careful about that. There is only 10 seconds left in this one, but really, really good at playing those counterattacks, backing up a couple of late hits here and towards the bodies where Terrence Crawford is going to go. Time expiring here after round one of our group stage, round number one. We'll watch a little bit of the replay here because, like you were saying, both players kind of going for the body, playing a little bit patient, but Terrence Crawford able to score a couple big hits to the body.
Yeah, you can see, especially that first jab was trying to kind of really predict when Josh Taylor was able to come in, but there was that cut that you were mentioning, already seeing a bit over from Terrence Crawford. It's going to be something that you're definitely going to have to make sure you're protecting. We're only one round in, and you're already seeing blood.
Of course, another little rule book here for the rounds number 1 and 2, or excuse me, I'll just say 3, 6, and 9 will be a little bit more extended of those corners. Be able to take some more time, but Terrence Crawford right out the rip here in round number 2, straight towards the face. You're going to see a little bit more ability to press towards the body early, and then once they lower that hands, can get that nice counter here for Terrence Crawford.
Yeah, you can see also trying to throw in a nice little mix in the body, trying to see if you can at least slow down the offensive from Josh Taylor, especially knowing you've got yourself a little bit of that disadvantage going on as far as in the face. I'm kind of surprised we haven't been seeing more gloves up, though. We might be seeing where Nath might be able to take advantage. We're seeing leading with those jabs over towards that eye, and if you can't keep the gloves up, man, it's just going to continue to get beaten.
Can't get beaten down here. Have to play some good defense. Nice little slip try there from Josh Taylor. We've seen some of those plays from Terrence Crawford to try and slip in, get a hook towards the body. We know how how exploitative that hook to the body can be, but if you can pressure that on, you're seeing that punches and bunches being activated from Terrence Crawford time and time again. That ability to hit multiple shot after shot after shot to get more damage can really sort of tear you down for Josh Taylor in these later rounds.
I mean, you kind of see still making. You saw going in, trying to get that lower body hit in it. I think on the hook there was able to get a really solid connection. But I mean, Josh Taylor, every time they lean in, Terrence Crawford really able to make him punish, whether it's to the body. We also saw it last time towards the face. I feel like despite the cut, I mean, maybe get your opinion on this as well, Llama, but I'm kind of liking the play that we're seeing from Majiq so far.
I really do. I think that cut might have just caught him a little bit off guard. Possibly one great hit from Josh Taylor, but he's been really working around the ring well. The footwork, pushing Josh Taylor back to the corner, and then getting those counters, popping in for a fast hit, popping back out. Taylor tries to go for the big hit towards the face, and that's where Terrence Crawford will strike you right back in the face of your own. Zeros on the clock after round number 2. And it is nobody out just yet. Nobody hit the floor, but Terrence Crawford putting on the pressure for Majiq.
Yeah, I do just gotta say though, as much as we're talking about the positives that we're seeing from Majiq, I mean, I definitely feel like Nath's got a pretty good game plan. We're seeing still doing a good job as far as attacking on their side here as well. Definitely, obviously, still too early to call. I think the big thing again, noticing back, we're looking kind of on the screen here, seeing the cut. Otherwise, over on Josh Taylor, still looking pretty healthy. So the longer this thing goes, I do feel again, kind of feel like Nath's got the advantage.
Got the advantage for a little bit, but does take a shot there at the start of the round. We'll have to see again. After this round number 3, you'll get a little bit more time, but the shots, the blows, these counterattacks just keep flying on through. Majiq really, really watching those hands as soon as they drop, that ability to hit on back. Some nice blocks towards either side in 30 seconds out of this round. Majiq did lose a little bit of their stamina bar, but hasn't burned too much, has saved some for these later rounds.
See here is, I mean, both teams, players just really trying to figure out where they can get at least a little bit of points going in here now in that first minute by. Nice little connection from Crawford there, but only able to get what? Basically the two going to try and close that gap just a little bit, but not really able to make a solid connection. I like what we're seeing from Josh Taylor though for Nath right now, kind of playing that low and slow, kind of waiting for the opportunity from Crawford. There have been a couple times where we've seen the extension's been happening, but they haven't been able to punish him quite yet.
Not been able to get that punish. It's going to be a nice little shot to the body there. Taylor, a little bit of that jab connecting on the counter attack. Terrence Crawford, though, here, Majiq hitting that punches and bunches. That's so important. All of that extra damage from hitting the combos. If you can follow it up, if you can predict what your opponent is going to do, and especially if you can start that off of a counter attack, feels really, really good. 60 seconds left to go until these fighters get a decent break.
Now, of course, to be that third round that we were mentioning earlier, right? Maybe time for either of these players to try and readjust their game plan. I feel like as far as for Majiq, their game plan has been pretty well working for them. I think even you can say this similarly for Nath, but I like what we're seeing right now for Majiq. We're seeing those straight jabs, really doing a good job of keeping Josh Taylor at bay, trying to see if you mentioned that punches and bunches, getting that going, but it seems like really only kind of getting stuff short at 2, very rarely getting to that third.
Well, 5 seconds left to go here. A little bit more body shot going through from Nath, but that time is pretty much going to expire. No big hits here towards the end. Some nice defense. So we'll go into this longer break. It is still going to be that left cut on the side of Terrence Crawford's face. However, for Josh Taylor, we'll have to see how things go. Cannot allow Terrence Crawford to get all these counter attacks. You've seen the blood kind of flowing all down the chest there. We'll see if they can keep on exploiting that. If they can keep hitting that side and keep on pressuring there. But both fighters relatively still healthy. Nobody's dropped to the ground. Nobody's been dazed yet. And 30 seconds left here for this recovery.
Yeah, and both, I mean, still looking pretty good as far as on the health and stamina as far as that we can see too. I mean, obviously only being 3 rounds in, both fighters got a pretty good idea as far as how to take this thing the distance if needed. But we have seen a couple more times where Nath has really kind of been targeting that left side of the face there, right? Like really trying to see if they can get a couple of hits in. I feel like also leading, trying to see if they can kind of come in with that. I felt like a hug a couple of times. I might be mistaken on that, but Josh Taylor, I feel like for them, I feel like these rounds 3 through 6 is going to be where you start seeing them set up for the long haul.
Gotta start to set up here into round number 4. You see the fight card favoring Majiq by just a little bit, but you mentioned absolutely so close here. I'd like to mention a little bit of that range advantage. You were talking about it at the beginning where Terrence Crawford does have 188 centimeters, where Josh Taylor only has 177. It seems like a small difference, but absolutely can be huge. Terrence Crawford, though, at the start of this round, so much head damage and forced here into the corner.
Yeah, you see Nath really kind of pushing up into him here. And that's kind of what you have to do when you're at the disadvantage on the reach, right? You got to try and close that gap and then try and see if you can land a couple. We know they have the ability to land some big shots when the opportunity does present. And that face damage could come into play here. We can see a little bit dropping down on the bar here thus far over on that Majiq side. And I think for now, Josh Taylor's going to try and sit back and kind of wait and see where the next opening is going to be.
Trying to look for that opening. I don't think Terrence Crawford giving it towards them unless it was at the start of this round. I really like how Terrence Crawford opening up these starts of the fight with a little bit of that jab, trying to just check out, see if maybe he'll go for that lower block and can hit something bigger towards the head. But Josh Taylor starting to find that range, making Terrence Crawford walk into him saying, okay, I might be at a little bit of a disadvantage here, but with 60 seconds left to go, I'm putting on the pressure. I got some good head damage and going for a good body shot there, a little bit of a trade.
Yeah, you got to find yourself a nice little opening, and there's going to be at least the first shot in,
Ooh.
going in for the left hook as well. I'm not quite sure how much connection that one made, but you can see that Majiq is playing a little bit more at bay, not even just so much with the jabs, but even kind of stepping away at times. Of course, as I say that, the two do get pretty well close right into one another there. But for Nath, I feel like you've done a pretty good job on the scoring this round, where they were at the disadvantage going into round number 4. It does feel like this round's been theirs.
Feels like it's possibly going to be that equalizer. I don't know if it's going to be a 2-point victory, so I don't know if you retake the lead, Nath, for this scorecard, but you are starting to get towards the halfway point of this fight, down to zeros on the clock at the end of round 4, and Terrence Crawford diving in there for a little bit more. We'll watch again on those replays of this first early exchange, just that ability to pop Terrence Crawford into the corner. There was a quick trade back, but Majiq faced a lot of early pressure there, and that left cut still persisting.
And I think it was what we saw, the one right cut, or the one right hook, and then was followed up with another one kind of narrowly there shortly thereafter, and really kind of attacking that left side of the face. And might as well, we're also starting to see a little bit of that swelling starting to build up over on the Crawford side. It's not much just quite yet, but it is only round 4 that we just got through, and obviously that does start to accrue over the time. And we know that Nath does like the long play, and you can even see coming out here trying to play aggressive is Nath.
Trying to play a little bit aggressive, has a little bit lower of a defense stat overall, but if you can hit some of those hooks a little bit later into this game. Oh, talking about some big hits there. Majiq with a nice one to trade on through. Josh Taylor starting to get red a little bit here. Majiq being able to find a couple of those openings here in the early round 5.
I mean, we have been seeing that as far as for Majiq, also been doing a decent job attacking the body at times, realizing that's not all about the head game. Really also trying to really incorporate attacking the body. We saw a nice little left body shot there from the side of Majiq, and you see it doing a good job, sticking and moving, trying to keep that distance again, really trying to use that range to their advantage here. But it is going to be Nath trying to close the distance. A couple of good shots here from Crawford, though.
Man, Majiq is killing them with these directionals here in this round number 5. Absolutely dodging out and then pressuring towards that body. Again, the body a little bit more has that defense. You obviously got the ribs in there to protect yourself. But man, Majiq making work of it here. A couple more pop shots back and forth. Body and head damage flowing through from Terrence Crawford. Head is still relatively healthy from taking some shots in that early round. 60 seconds left to go, and the reads do not stop for Majiq.
Yeah, I feel like here this time around, definitely a little bit closer of a round. We do see another couple of face shots that were coming in over on that side. Nath handing them in, realizing that there's an open opportunity. There's a quick combo, only I think one of which had connected. 30 seconds here left for our two fighters to try and score their last little bit of points. We see a little bit coming in from that body shot. Again, the work that Majiq has been doing over onto that right side of the body from Nath really started to take its toll.
Lots of damage, lots of toll is going to be taken. 5 seconds left to go. A quick little trade here. Can you get anything at the end of the round? Just going to put the gloves up and walk away. Survive for another round, play for another round here. And we'll get to see once again just those body shots, the extra little bit of combos with the punches and bunches. And Terrence Crawford, piloted by Majiq here, doing some really good damage. We are into round number 6 here, Q. So you get a little bit more time. I think if you are Nath, you have to develop a plan for this next round, especially the next couple rounds. If you're down in the scorecard because of the last round, or if you have an extended little bit of body damage, you need to find a way to remedy that.
Yeah, I feel like when we saw where that 4th round felt like it went a little bit more towards the side of Nath, I feel like the scorecard is probably going to go a little bit more towards Majiq on that 5th, which means this is going to be where for Nath, you got to bring this thing back. If you can go into round number 7 when we see the scorecard all tied up, knowing that the long game kind of benefits you, you'd be feeling really good. Going down by 2, though, or even more, could be a little bit of a hazard. So let's see for these next 3 minutes, if as far as on the side of Nath, if they can kind of turn things up a bit.
Got to try and find that range, got to try and find your ways in, but every time it feels like Majiq has been able to get the counters close on the scorecard. Does mean you don't need to do anything crazy. For Nath, it's not like you need to look for a knockout here in these final couple rounds. A knockout, would be nice and exciting for us up here in the booth, but if you can just land those consistent shots, if you can find a way to beat out on those directional dodges, the face shots are a good way to start it out.
Yeah, Nath is, I mean, still finding them here and there. You can definitely see still attacking that left side of the face, leading in, whether it's the right straights or even coming in with the hooks as well to get the connection and
Oh,
going to try and close that gap at times. And you can see starting to get Majiq a little bit closer to the ropes. Magic's going to hit a nice little shot, which should cause Nath to back down just a little bit. But again, running out of time here, 80 seconds left.
oh.
And for Nath, you've got to start accumulating points in the scorecard.
Nath was hitting some good shots there, but yeah, like you mentioned, scorecard going to be really, really close for Majiq. I like the ability to get at a dodge that once you took a couple of those shots, don't let them get the follow-up. Don't risk that chance of being knocked down and your fight being ended. Some really good slip with that jab once again over the blocking hands of Nath. Credit towards the body shot there. Terrence Crawford suffering some damage here at the end of the round. Only 30 seconds to go here in round number 6, but the punches are flying from Nath.
And Nath's got him hurting here. And you got to see if they can hold off these last 20 seconds. If Nath can land themselves a big shot, or maybe even two, might be able to start a combo here. 10 seconds to still be able to stand on their feet here for Majiq. You can even see trying to use that range to keep them at bay. Last 3 seconds, last couple. Oh, you see trying to come in with a big haymaker, not going to be able to make a connection. That's going to be the end of round number 6.
End of round number 6, but what an exciting one. Majiq starts us off with a little bit of jab trades, but Nath, man, just found his corner, pressured him up and in. That left cut from the early rounds is going to have to be in that recovery mode here. And you got to prepare for this next one. I feel like the scorecard has to be dead even after 6, and especially after that round. Nath, you found your range, you found your rhythm. And if there were 30 seconds left on the clock there or more, Q, I mean, that would be absolutely crazy. I feel like Nath could have ended it right there.
Yeah, it definitely feels like Nath is getting close, but remember, Nath is fine with playing the long game. So
Yeah.
if you can just at least continue accruing those points, continue putting in the work, especially over on that left side of the face. But while we're basically halfway through our first fight, if y'all are tuning in here and y'all haven't already done so, I need y'all to do me a favor. One, make sure you've hit the follow button. You've got those notifications on, but also share with your friends, man. Tell somebody to tell somebody to tell somebody about it.
Tell everybody about it. Big event here
There it
today.
is.
And we were correct, Q. 57-57, all tied up after 6. We're going to the 7th round. This could be a pretty big swing either way. And now here for Majiq, you have to find that way back into this game. You've used a obviously decent chunk of your stamina bar because we've been 6 rounds down. But Nath, if he keeps finding that range, again, he's at a range disadvantage with Josh Taylor, but has had these directionals, and that shot towards the body was nice.
That was a nice shot. You can see doing a really good job of sidestepping, moving in, and even getting a couple of shots in on the face and starting to feel it over on the side of Majiq. And Nath starting to play a little bit more aggressive, realizing that one big shot might get the stun that you're looking for to really create an opening.
Again, Majiq is that player that is the 2 seed. Nath coming in as the 3 seed, keeping this one even. And we knew it was going to be a close one. Already a good contender for a fight of the night. A minute 30 left here in this round number 7. Lucky number 7. We'll see if it's lucky for Majiq at the end of it.
And now you got 80 seconds here left, and it definitely feels like this round has been favoring Nath just a little bit, but you would definitely feel a little bit better if you could get your friend over on the opposite side of the mat. You got to get Majiq down on the mat at least once. It feels like you've gotten pretty close to getting this done. If you can find yourself a nice little flurry, there's a nice little 2-piece right there from the right-hand side, but can you follow things up and get this done and then follow it up for a big hit?
In these late rounds, Nath is absolutely finding their marker. You talk about finding those flurries, finding those combos, finding everything here, and pressuring themselves towards the edge with 30 seconds left to go. I would love to see Nath go forward. You probably already won this round, but if you could do some more damage, if you could create those extra headshots that you've been using the directionals really well as yourself too. With almost no time left on the clock, a couple more trades back and forth. Josh Taylor taking a few more shots towards the head. And that is going to be round number 7 hitting the bell.
Does feel like that one in the books. Number 7 goes in favor of Nath, but we do see that Majiq still having no problem standing toe to toe and still trying to go blow for blow here as well. But you do got to look a little bit over onto that bottom right hand side of the screen. We're starting to run a little bit low on our bars here. We can't help but wonder what things look like over on the side of Nath, because it feels like Nath has been really kind of doing a good job. I mean, you've seen a couple of stuns on the head, but we do know that Majiq's been working the body quite a bit too.
Majiq's been getting some really good body shots. Would be not surprised if there's some damage on the other side. However, we've got to see here This is getting towards the later rounds, Q. This is getting towards, again, you don't got to be risky. You got to play safe. You got to play for points. You got to go towards this judge's scorecard. If you get one knockdown here, it's possibly a game winner.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like for Nath, you feel like now you're in the driver's seat, kind of for the first time really in this fight. So you've got to be feeling good. I definitely feel like that might even lead to them playing a little bit more aggressive, right? You got Majiq, who's going to have to find some way to start playing makeup here and try and start getting those points where we've seen them kind of using the range to just kind of get more of the points. They're going to have to start going for the kill shot soon.
Going to have to try. We'll have to see if they can get that credit going towards themselves here for Nath. 2 minutes left to go, possibly controlling things once again. The body shots. Oh, man, look at the damage here from Majiq. Goes back in. That redirection and that recollection of their soul here should be fine enough to keep them okay. But, man, Nath absolutely controlling things. The headshots, the body shots, everything. All of the damage is there, except Majiq is going to land a couple counters that make Nath back off.
Yeah, I mean, you can see the face starting to red just a little bit over on that Nath side. So Majiq's starting to make a little bit of leeway. But again, realizing that Majiq is going to have to play a little bit more aggressive. And now we've got it, the first down, and it's actually Nath who's on the mat, just on a knee.
Yeah, down on a knee, should be able. It is only the first down, so should be able to hit those green bars nice and easy to get themselves back up. That was surprising, to say the least. I think for Majiq, a really good opening for themselves to find. And we talked about the power of this punches and bunches in the early stages. In round 8Q, with that punches and bunches, you lose so much stamina regen if you don't finish those rounds early.
Yeah, but I think the other thing, though, I just wanted to point out real quick, we kind of saw that down off of a body shot. I think that just kind of goes to show the work that Majiq has been putting in on the body, right? But you mentioned how now is kind of where you start to see that fall off. And for Majiq, you've only gotten the one knockdown thus far. So it's going to be a struggle for you. Now we're through 8. I mean, yeah, I feel like that round goes in your favor. But I still don't know if I feel like Majiq's in the driver's seat right now.
I really don't know. I feel like that knockdown saved them, because you see all this early damage, the headshots, the body shots, everything was in pain there. But for Josh Taylor, you can see clearly in pain as well. So a really close one here, Q. And this is what we expected here for our event, the 2 seed and 3 seed. They've got 2 more rounds to try and finish it. You feel like both players have an opportunity to take the wheel. Maybe Majiq, if you could get one more knockdown, the bars slowly decrease, the timer possibly running for Nath.
And now here, 2 rounds left. You got to figure out which of these 2 players is going to be able to really kind of capitalize, especially knowing that both players are probably looking at a relatively low stamina bar. You've got to be able to pick your moments and really choose those windows of opportunity. You can see, Nath trying to find a heavy hit, not going to be able to find it. Straight shot, going to be able to at least find the face. Now going to lead with another one, and I think actually got a 1-2 there. Going to try and close the distance with an uppercut as well. Get a couple of tags, but does have to worry again. Once again, we talked about that range for Majiq.
Really, really good range, trying to use it to the best of their ability, but that less stamina regeneration is an absolute killer. Have to pick and choose your punches very carefully here for Josh Taylor. Okay, switching over to Nath's view, and we're seeing actually has a little bit of that extra stamina bar, a little bit more than Majiq, so utilizing with that lesser body damage. We'll have to see. Minute 30 left in this fight.
Yeah, it feels like they're definitely still kind of neck and neck here. And now 75 seconds here left in round number 9. Remember, after this round here, we will get to see the card once more before we go into the final round of our bout. And we mentioned earlier, with this being a single elimination, you don't have the opportunity to go into a lower bracket. This could be potentially your second to last round of this tournament. You got to kind of step things up and start setting up a flurry.
And we might go into that round number 10 as a decider. We'll have to see. 30 seconds left in this round number 9. 25 now as Terrence Crawford, piloted by Majiq, backing on up. Landing the punches and bunches once again and getting that combo going. It's going to be Nath pushing their way forward at these late ends of the rounds. Has always found their way to get the counterattack, get the flurry going. But 5 seconds left won't give them much time. Trades, heavy blows going back and forth. Another headshot to end out the round. Majiq connects once more. A minute here for these players, but man, this replay right at the end got to see that, the front uppercut to connect.
Yeah, it's a big shot. Probably wish they had a little bit more time there. But also, I feel like if you can land a big shot like that going into the break of the round,
Yep.
it's almost like, hey, I'm coming out here in this last one and I'm coming swinging. Also, because I feel like that last round, once again, in the favor of Majiq. We talked about it, this thing went the distance, how it could potentially be favoring Nath. It looked like that would potentially be the case. But I think Nath is going to have to require a big round 10 here. We'll have to see what the scorecard looks like.
Have to see what it looks like. And here in these 20 seconds, this is a planning phase for both these two players. You're calculating the score in your head. You're trying to find a game plan that's going to work for you specifically in these last 3 minutes. You have to know if you start slow, it could be absolutely disastrous. It's actually Majiq leading by
Yeah.
2. I mean, Nath seeing that and taking the early shot, you got to go quick here.
Yeah, you've got to move quick. I mean, you've seen a couple of times where you've got Majiq bent over. They're definitely feeling the pain, but you've got to turn up the heat. 2 points down on the scorecard. A 10-9 simply won't cut it. You've got to come out here and really do a good job of dictating the pace. You've been able to push him into the corner, but things have gotten flipped.
Flipping back and forth. More head damage coming on through for Majiq. You see, not only the stamina bar is draining, but that head damage is absolutely critical here for Nath. That could be their way back in this series, back to this final round. If you get a knockdown, you don't even really need a knockout at this point. You just take one of those downs. It could possibly give you that 2-point advantageous round. Both players missing on a couple of strikes here and there. About half this round left to play in the final round of our first round robin matchup.
And here we go, last 90 seconds. And for Nath, you've got to start cooking here. You've been able to bounce or get the Mac into the Majiq side into their corner, but now it's Majiq trying to come out swinging here, trying to see if you can get him down, releasing a flurry of punches, trying to find a connection on the body. There it is, keeping this thing extended, and down goes Nath.
Down to the floor they go. Possibility to get back up, but that might have just been the game. The daze comes through, the counter attacks from Majiq connecting. Get to see it again here in the replay, just trying to predict, but that body work lowers the guard, and the headshots finish them off. 30 seconds left to go. Nath has to do something about it.
It needs to be something, and it needs to be
Head
something
damage.
quick. You've got to really start swinging. The damage coming out, but you've only got 20 seconds to capitalize. You know doesn't have much gas in the tank, and especially after the knockdown, going to be worried about catching a big shot in their own right. Another quick one there to the lower body, and it definitely feels like Majiq walking away with our first fight.
Majiq just playing the defense. Zeros on the clock, and we will get the decider here by a ref's decision. It is Terrence Crawford, piloted by Majiq. Those 2 knockdowns being really, really decisive to try and decide that fight all throughout it. And a really, really good fight, I gotta say, Q, to start us out.
That was a beautiful fight to start things off. But you know what? We got to see a lot of it. There's the scorecard, unanimous decision. But you know who I really want to get an idea from and kind of break things down in our first fight here, Llama? We've got Raging coming in, our analyst for our event here. And I kind of want to get their ideas of how was it that Majiq was really kind of able to break things down the end of that fight and really turn the scorecard around.
Love to see that. If we could bring a Raging in here to discuss the end of that fight, of course, 91-97 final counter up here on the board. Majiq going to be advancing towards the next round. A 47% actually connection, a little bit higher by Nath there at the end of the fight. For Majiq, it's a win though. You had that early cuts on both the left and right side of that head, but was just able to survive out through the fight.
I do want to see Raging. Raging, what were your thoughts on our first matchup?
What a first fight, guys. What do you think about that, huh? This is looking good, man. This was quite a matchup between Nath and Majiq. I mean, Nath, this guy was really trying to keep his distance. You saw him working that double jab, going in and out. You know, the guy was really trying to work the jab, keep his distance. I almost felt like Nath was feeling like he had the fight in the bag, kind of. You guys called it on that round 6 when you guys, at the end of round 6, you called it a tie, right? And it was definitely a tie. You guys did a great job watching on that. And definitely, you know, I feel like Nath was kind of feeling good after round 7. He was, you know, he won the round probably, and he was feeling good. And I think he was trying to Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, I was able to hear what you were talking about there, just for the record. I know we had you muted in Discord. It's kind of a
There we
first time
go,
around
there
here,
we
but
go.
I do have to agree though. It felt like the end of 6 there, and where we kind of started to see the turn. But you mentioned how much I want to make sure that we're also getting Llama kind of caught back up here. How much that it was the body play as far as for Majiq there towards the end that really kind of influenced things, right?
Totally, man. I feel like Nath was just trying to take it to the judges because he thought he did enough work. But I do like what I saw from Majiq. He was doing a lot of counter punching. He was landing a lot of stuff that was starting to hurt. You know, all those counter punches. You know, he started using the directional dodge a lot more in the 7th, the 8th, and that was opening up shots because you know, he was timing the jab by Nath. He was using the directional dodge, getting underneath the jab and landing with those big body uppercuts, and that was doing a lot of damage. And I think that's ultimately what took down Nath. And you know, once he got taken down a couple of times, them scorecards really started turning around. And then you saw the panic start setting in, and he was trying to figure out a way to keep the fight at bay. But you know, Majiq did a great job executing counters at the right times, and he really closed out the fight with some big shots, man. And those knockdowns, those 2 knockdowns, that changed everything. You know what I'm saying, guys?
Yeah, I mean, it really changed the scorecard for, I mean, Q and I. We were talking about how close it was. I mean, it was within 1 towards, you know, round 7, round 8. I mean, you've played a little bit at the highest level, Raging. Tell us, you know, with that punches and bunches, we saw Majiq fighting through it, but how much do you really feel that kind of minus 20% stamina regen after that round 8?
Oh, it definitely starts hurting, man. You know, punches and bunches. Personally, as a player, I'm all about it, man. I subscribe to the punches and bunches thing. You know what I mean? Guys can't handle it, man. You know, one thing that I like to talk about in my streams is accumulative damage. You know, you might not be getting them down at the beginning, but those punches start adding up, man. You start hitting them with a little bit of, you know, body shots here and there. By the time rounds 8, 9, 10 start coming around, oh man, your stamina's hurting. You're starting to not want to take any more of those shots. You know what I mean? So it gets real dangerous real quick. Yeah, so it's he did a good job with the punches and bunches, in my opinion.
Well, I love it. I love it. Well, we are only 1 fight in here. And if that's an appetizer, Raging, of what we've got for the rest of the afternoon, I am all here for it. But since that first fight did go the distance, we know that we've got our next matchup of fighters ready to jump back in the ring. And obviously, we've got a bunch of viewers who want to get right back in the action. So we're going to take ourselves a very quick break, and we'll be back up with matchup number 2 here in a minute.
Oh, yeah.